Hi YouTube, I'm Tim and welcome to part 5 of my DVD and Blu-ray update for March 2018, and it originally intended to do this update last night, but I needed a break from doing YouTube videos, and I just felt really crummy. I was not in a good mood last night, and I don't want to get into why I wasn't in a good mood. I really don't want to get into it. I just want to talk about pleasant things, which is why I'm doing this update tonight, because I'm in a better mood. And this update, yeah, two things I was originally planning to do. If I had gotten my one cheerleader video, I showed this off in the last one. If I had gotten this one sooner, I was going to make this update be on old 70s and drive-in cult movies, which it kind of is going to be, because something has happened in the DVD world that was completely unexpected that I want to get into, which is why I'm going to bring it up. But first, yesterday I had gotten my package from Dark Force Entertainment. I had bought 4 of their latest Blu-ray releases, and 3 of them are 70s drive-in double features that simulate a drive-in double feature. The only thing missing is just the car, driving your car to a drive-in and going to the snack bar and getting popcorn and all that. And I'm out of Dr. Pepper now, so I'm drinking the lemon lime Kool-Aid. I made some. So the little drive-in in my head and in my living room TV, I don't have all the good snack bar stuff right now. Get the whole experience, but yeah, this package was all Dark Force Entertainment, and they put out a new double feature Blu-ray containing 2 70s drive-in cult movies, and it's 2 US versions of a couple of European movies, and one movie from Spain. It was originally called Scream and Die, but here Hallmark Releasing Corporation got a hold of it, and they were the people that distributed The Last House on the Left and Don't Look in the Basement. Well, they recycled a bit of the tagline from Last House on the Left and some images from Last House on the Left to advertise The House That Vanished. And Dark Horse made these neat little magnets that copy of the old 70s drive-in movie posters that advertised The House That Vanished. From that company, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, it's only a movie. In the great Hitchcock tradition, The House That Vanished. And that's the latest of these drive-in double feature Blu-rays they've been doing. They're originally going to be put out by Code Red, but the first one I've got, it's the remake of Last House on the Left called Chaos, but it's pretty sure this one's more intense than Last House on the Left. And it's one I don't know if I could get myself to watch. There's a HD version of Don't Look in the Basement, which is supposed to be from a damaged Grindhouse print, quality print, so can't expect too much from that, but still nice. I think both of these are in widescreen. Well, Chaos is unrated. Don't Look in the Basement's R. Region A, B, and C. Chaos runs 74 minutes, while Don't Look in the Basement's 89. I cannot ignore it, nor can I deny that it has affected me strongly. The movie works. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times. That's what he had to say about Chaos when he was alive. He had seen Chaos. And this is what we get on the back. It says, in retrospect, the 70s drive-in era comes The Two Houses of Hell double feature. The box office opens at 7 p.m. In the first feature, Don't Look in the Basement, even though they list Chaos before, and Don't Look in the Basement as the second co-hit, so I don't know how accurate what they typed on here is, or if there's a bunch of typos on here or not. In the first feature, Don't Look in the Basement, 1973 starts at dusk, followed by the nostalgic 10-minute drive-in intermission clock comes our main feature, Chaos, the most brutal film ever released, starring Kevin Gage, who was in the movies Heat and Blow, and Sage Stallone, who died, Sylvester Stallone's son. Sad that he died so young. He was in the movies Daylight and Rocky V. Play drive-in mode to experience the entire show. And special features, Chaos is a 1080p HD 2016 transfer, while Don't Look in the Basement is brand new 2018p HD 2017 transfer from archival 35mm print. And I've heard it's a pretty beat up print, so it's not going to look as pretty as what MGM could probably come up with, because I believe MGM controls Hallmark Releasing Corporation, since MGM are the ones who own The Last House on the Left now, and so they should have Don't Look in the Basement's negatives as well. And MGM put out two different DVD releases of the original Last House on the Left. They did one Blu-ray, and now they've licensed it out to Arrow for a 2-disc Blu-ray. And then there was that remake of The Last House on the Left, which the star of the original, David Hess, said that the house wasn't even on the left, it was on the right. Here's like a simulation of drive-in movie theater, and I'm pretty sure that that is an image from Chaos, because it looks like that Sage Stallone is one of these bad guys who looks like that foursome gang from the original Last House on the Left, how there was like a slightly butch lesbian and a few guys. Okay, this is funny. For Don't Look in the Basement, warning, not recommended for people over 30. Oh, come on. That movie is R-rated, but it's pretty tame. And I think the MPAA cut that movie up quite a bit. So if you see Don't Look in the Basement, I think most of the violence is cut down to where you see some bloodshed and some stabbings, and there's some prints that Don't Look in the Basement out on DVD where they took out the nudity. Not that there was much, but there was some. and it's the first of Dark Force Entertainment's drive-in double features. And then they came up with a second drive-in double feature Blu-ray, Two Houses of Hell. We get David Hess from the original Last House on the left did an Italian movie that was something like Last House on the left called House on the Edge of the Park. And it's paired with the PG-rated film that was released by Bryanston Pictures and was originally called The Bride. And Bryanston Pictures are the ones who put out the porno film Deep Throat, but then they put out some non-porn films as well as Deep Throat. Put out The Bride, and they put out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Put out quite a bit of stuff. On with this one, and it has a code red spine because I believe these were originally supposed to be code red labels, but it looks like it does have a mention Dark Force on the back and on the spine as well as code red, so that's weird. Okay. Delivers shocks to the maximum. Push is the limits of acceptability. The 70s drive-in retrospect continues with two more Houses of Hell. The box office opens at 7 o'clock. Our first feature, Last House on Massacre Street, 1973, starts at dusk. That's a PG one. Followed by our main feature, House on the Edge of the Park from 1980. And that says this slice of Italian exploitation starring David Hess, Last House on the left, and directed by cult director Ruggero Deodato. Cannibal Holocaust is a cut above the rest. Watch in drive-in mode to enjoy the full nostalgic experience and shocking HD. Special features, House on the Edge of the Park HD Master with exclusive color correction. Watch both films in drive-in theater mode complete with intermission and drive-in clock. Color approximately 174 minutes. Language English mono. Anamorphic widescreen 1.85. Region A, B, and C. It says it's unrated, but Last House on Massacre Street should be PG, and House on the Edge of the Park should at least be an R. It's 1985. It's copyright Bedford Entertainment, licensed exclusively from Rewind Films, all rights reserved. So that's the second one, and then they came out with the third 70s style drive-in double feature Blu-ray, where they gave away these magnets. One of the two films that's on there, The House That Vanished, and of course that poster art, it's on top. Is it too soon to talk about 72, that time Paul and Valerie fell in love at first sight and began searching for a place to have an affair? From that company, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, blah 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 blah. In the great Hitchcock tradition. And they kept searching until they found The House That Vanished in color rated R, plus The Eerie Midnight Horror Show, which is also rated R. And that's not a girl dressed up as Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's a possessed Italian art student. Eerie Midnight Horror Show is also called Enter the Devil and The Sexorcist. It's an Italian version of The Exorcist, where instead of a little girl getting demonically possessed, you have a 20-something-year-old art student goes into a church that had been deconsecrated, and she finds this wood carving of the crucified Jesus Christ, along with wood carvings of the two robbers who were crucified with Jesus. Well, she takes one of the wood carvings home with her, and while she's doing a painting late at night, she falls asleep, and then she has this nightmare that the wood carving comes to life, and it strips her naked and rapes her, and then after that she gets possessed by the devil. So it turns into spaghetti version of The Exorcist, but really sleazed up a Italian version of The Exorcist. But it's like a drive-in during the day. There's not really anybody there. The third installment in the series of 70s Drive-In Retrospects continues with 2 horror movies. When you click on our exclusive drive-in mode, the menu, you can start the show at dusk, just like the drive-ins did. The first feature, The Eerie Midnight Horror Show, 1974, is followed by the nostalgic drive-in intermission, and then the main feature, The House That Vanished, from 1973. Relive the drive-in era and collect all the retro drive-in double features from Dark Force Entertainment. Special features, new HD color-corrected and restored masters on both features. Watch both films on our exclusive drive-in mode feature, darkforcedvd.com. And it's language English mono, color. The House That Vanished is 89 minutes, while The Eerie Midnight Horror Show is 85 minutes, anamorphic widescreen 1.78, and copyright 1977 Jacques Lou Associates, region ABC, it's Blu-ray and rated R. And I've never seen The House That Vanished, and even though this is the US cut of it, should still be a bit fun to watch. But then I had one other new release that wasn't a drive-in double feature. It's a late 80s slasher film, Offerings. Remember him before he dismembers you. In the tradition of the 80s slasher movie genre, so we're going from the 70s drive-in to 80s drive-in now. In the tradition of the 80s slasher movie genre, Dark Force Entertainment is proud to bring you the 1989 cult horror classic Offerings. This dark little gem was directed by Christopher Reynolds and heavily borrowed from the original Halloween. Offerings is a worthy entry into the slasher genre with its own unique appeal. If you are a fan of masked killer with knife horror flicks, you want to add Offerings to your collection. 10 years after he was pushed down a well, a young man kills off the neighborhood bullies who tormented him and leaves their body parts as presents for the one girl who was kind to him. And the special features, brand new 16:9 scene-by-scene color-corrected HD master, and the original theatrical trailer, plus horror coming attractions from Dark Force Entertainment. It gives the Dark Force DVD Big Cartel website, and it looks like it's licensed from Multicom Entertainment Group. Language is English mono, color 94 minutes, anamorphic widescreen 1.78, 1988, Arista Films under license from Multicom Entertainment Group, Inc., region A, B, C, Blu-ray, rated R. And this movie stars Loretta Lee Bauman, Elizabeth Green, G. Michael Smith, and Jerry Brewer, and I don't know who any of them are, so bunch of unknowns, so I'll do a recap of this Dark Force Entertainment package first, and then be going somewhere else with this video. Old Dark Force Entertainment Blu-rays. There are 3 70s drive-in double feature Blu-rays. One a Chaos paired with the 1973 drive-in horror cult classic Don't Look in the Basement, and then the 2 Houses of Hell double feature, the 1980 House on the Edge of the Park starring David Hess from Last House on the Left, paired with more tame but still psycho movie Last House on Massacre Street, aka The Bride, where we get a spoiled rich girl bride goes into psycho mode when she finds her husband cheating on her. And then last of 3 70s drive-in double features Blu-rays out from Dark Force. The American release cut of The House That Vanished, paired with the Italian Exorcist clone, The Eerie Midnight Horror Show, which is also known as The Sexorcist, and Enter the Devil, and it's called The Devil Obsession, it's called The Obsession. And then the one single Blu-ray feature the late 80s slasher film offerings, and then with that House That Vanished Blu-ray, I got the magnet, which they said they were running out, and that with all the other orders they were just going to give away a limited edition poster of the House That Vanished in the place of the magnet. So that's it for my Dark Force Entertainment package that I got the other day. So now on to something new, and something that really was a big surprise to me, which kind of goes back to 2010. So let's go back up here. Hello. It was in 2010. B-movie filmmaker Roger Corman, he had ended his deal with Buena Vista Home Video, Walt Disney, to distribute the Roger Corman New Horizons Pictures Library on DVD, and he had signed a multi-year deal with Shout Factory to do a DVD and Blu-ray line called Roger Corman's Cult Classics, which unfortunately that line was not a big success for Shout Factory because they said it wasn't making them any money. So that they ended the line in 2012, which was a big put down, or just a big disappointment for fans, because they have like a dozen or so films that they're sitting on that they still haven't put out even on DVD. There were like a dozen or so films that they put out on both DVD and Blu-ray, and then a bunch that were DVD only, but there were still a dozen or so more that would be special edition DVDs that never happened. So I heard that Roger Corman was going to sell his company, and rumor has it that Disney had put in a bid for it once again, and that Shout Factory put in a bid for it. But I had heard that the rumor was that Shout Factory didn't offer Roger Corman enough money to buy out his company. Well, today I hear, reading online, reading the Hollywood Reporter article and a few other websites that covered this, that Shout Factory had been successful in buying up the Roger Corman New Horizons film library, so they now have the full rights to 270 of Roger Corman's films. And I believe they had mentioned how Roger Corman would. Yeah, Roger Corman had already talked about this on Cult Radio when he was interviewed about wanting to remake all of his old New World Pictures movies, and he had started that Universal Pictures making a direct-to-DVD and Blu-ray and digital streaming copy remake of Death Race 2000 as Death Race 2050, and I had read online that he had gone to Japan to shoot a remake of Piranha called Piranha JPN, which is just short for Piranha Japan. Well, now Roger Corman sold his company completely to Shout, and now I believe Shout has said that they want to remake all the old Roger Corman movies, at least the ones that Roger Corman has rights to, and so now there's some hope that they'll finally put out those remaining films that they had been sitting on, because I had heard rumors that Roger had done some new masters of the few films that Shout Factory had rejected. And of course, later, Scorpion, releasing in Code Red, had licensed a number of films directly from Roger that Shout Factory had either decided not to include in their deal, or if it was going to be in the deal, they said they wouldn't include it in the deal. And then, yeah, it's funny because Shout Factory had first started releasing DVDs and Blu-rays of the Corman cult classics as single features, but then they started doing double features, and then there were the triple feature DVDs, and then there were the quadruple feature DVDs, and there was one triple feature Blu-ray. But then, at the end of that Corman line, there were just the single feature DVDs, and only one of them ended up being in a 16:9 widescreen. The other two were pan and scan full frame copies, and one of the two full frame, one looked like it was from a very old VHS rip. So, and I know Scorpion and Code Red had said that they had to sign an agreement that they wouldn't double up, triple up, or quadruple up any more Roger Corman's films, and Shout had done some Scream Factory single Blu-ray features of The Nest, which was a DVD Blu-ray combo. It was a Corman title, but they got that from MGM since the rights were bouncing back and forth from MGM to Corman. And then they had done a single Scream Factory Blu-ray of the first Lumber Party Massacre film, and then they did the double feature Blu-ray set of Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3, but they didn't put both movies onto one Blu-ray. They gave each sequel its own Blu-ray this time, because the DVD was 2 DVDs for all 3 movies. But then there were these limited edition Scream Factory Blues, where they did The Velvet Vampire and Time Walker and Up from the Depths as single feature Blu-rays, which were pretty expensive, but it turned into another situation where it was like Twilight Time, where the fan base for these had been so small, they had to make them limited editions, selling them directly through the site, and they had to up the price because they couldn't make money off of selling DVDs and Blu-rays for $20 a pop. But they did do one more double feature. They did a Blu-ray double feature, the two I think it's Deathmaster, was that Sword and Sorcery film series that Corman produced. Oh, Deathstalker. Yeah, it was kind of something like Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, they re-released those two movies that had been in a 4-movie 2 DVD set as a Blu-ray double feature, and that of course sold out right away since fans were seeing, oh, I could get 2 movies for $26.99. That's a bargain for 2 for the price of 1. So they got away with doing that, and the 2 Slumber Party Massacre sequels as double feature blues. But then everything else that they had left for Blu-ray became single features. Even Big Bad Mama, they released the film on a manufactured on-demand Blu-ray off of Amazon.com, which had no extras, not even the sequel or a trailer, but it's still nice to get it in the HD. So I'm hoping that now Shout Factory will go back and they'll actually release the film that started Roger Corman's New World Pictures, which I bought this off of Corman when he had an online store. It was just the old DVD. There's never been a Blu-ray, and there's never been an anamorphic widescreen DVD. It's just letterboxed. Student nurses. They're learning fast. So I'm thinking about watching this tonight to celebrate Shout Factory's buying up the Corman library, and hoping that if they don't do a Blu-ray, at least give this an anamorphic widescreen transfer that's something close to a Blu-ray, because this is decent letterbox edition, but it could be so much better. It could still be better. It's better than a VHS copy, but picture quality still could look a little bit better. I have watched a little bit of this, but still need to watch it all from beginning to end. It's a neat little chick flick, but since it's the early 70s, it gets a little sleazy, and they have to go with a countercultural route with early 70s feminism, and this was one where it had a female director. 4 sequels that Shout Factory did release on DVD were all done by men, and they had trimmed it down to where instead of there being 4 nurses in the sequels, it was always a trio of nurses. So hopefully I can get to watching this late tonight, and of course it's, I won't say what time it is right now. It's late already, so here's hoping this gets a new master done. And then one that Shout Factory had released onto both separate DVD and Blu-ray releases for the first time. It had only had a VHS tape release. Corman had never put out a DVD on his own, and Disney had never touched it when they had rights to his films. Film known as Mind Warp, an Infinity of Terror, and this is the reverse artwork. Cult movie fans will know this better as Galaxy of Terror. This one stars the late great Erin Moran from TV's Happy Days, who was Joni, and Edward Albert, Green Acres star Eddie Albert's son, who is also in a drive-in movie called The House Where Evil Dwells, and the stars Ray Walston from TV's My Favorite Martian, and Robert Englund, Nightmare on Elm Street series, Almond King, Blue Sunshine, and Sid Haig, House of a Thousand Corpses. And this is the one that James Cameron worked on. And this was one of Corman's later New World productions, Student Nurses being the first in 1970, and this being one of the near last ones in the early 80s. He'd finished up what he was going to do with the New World in 84 and sold off the company somewhere in 84 or 85. So probably watch this to celebrate. Shout Factory is getting the Corman New Horizons film library, and I hope they actually do a little bit more with it. They did some stuff with it by getting titles like this, but they didn't get so much of the early 70s stuff like Student Nurses. They got the sequels to it, but they never got this one that started the nurse cycle. And then there were a few more women in prison films that they didn't put out. They were going to put out The Hot Box and the Woman Hunt, and then the one African-American film, Savage, which were all done in the Philippines. And then I believe the biker film Bury Me an Angel was one that they had considered doing at one time, as well as another biker film called Angels Hard as They Come, and possibly Angels Die Hard, which was another one of the first Corman New World Picture productions from 1970. So, it's been talking for 38 minutes, so, and it is getting late, so I was thinking about watching The House That Vanished, but I also want to watch this film now, hoping that it'll get a remaster from Shout, because I did hear rumors that Corman did go back and remaster it right before he sold the company to Shout. So that's it for my DVD and Blu-ray update for March 2018, unless I end up buying a little bit more, which don't really have enough in the bank to do any more online buying until April, so if I do any more buying, it's going to be in store. But I might need to buy a few little things for Easter. So I'm Tim, and thanks for watching, and if I don't have another update video for March, I'll be back hopefully in April with another DVD and Blu-ray update video. So thanks again for watching.